I cannot believe it has been over a year since my last upload on this channel. Hello everybody, Mannix here. Sorry for the MIA action. It's just been so crazy. We've been moving, we finally got settled into the new house, and even after we got settled in, it took us months to get everything out. We were renovating the basement, and almost finished up the sound room I'm in right now to do reviews again, so I'm finally here, and I have at least, I think I have like 8 or 9 more videos I can think of right off the bat, so I'll try to upload them weekly. I'm gonna try to do it each Wednesday, but I figured I'd bust through the ceiling and start off, or restart off the reviews anyway, with this Gerber Flatiron. Now these go for, I think I got this for like 30 bucks, 28 bucks, something really low at Walmart. I just found out Walmart was the last one they had. I was like, I want that, and I bought it. Now this is the redesign, I believe, of the Gerber Flatiron, and they call it the Gerber Flatiron. That makes it a little bit difficult to find info on it. It's very tricky to read up the specs and find the MSRP. It's just hard because they didn't give it a new name as far as I know, but this is the redesign. I'll roll in a picture of the old design right now. Basically, they just changed a few things where it's now a lot easier to open up. It's a lot easier to operate now. It's a knife that a lot of people found interesting. A lot of people really liked, thought it was cool, but it was frowned upon by so many people very quickly because they were having trouble opening and closing. It was basically just a very clunky, uncomfortable knife to operate. But with this redesign, it's actually a pleasure to operate this knife. It's not the most comfortable knife in the world, but I really like it. I'm a huge fan. I love cleaver style folders. I love sharp corners and turns and angles. I love it. And this is a really, really cool knife. The specs I found anyway, let's see. This is Amazon's website, actually. Even on Gerber's official website, I couldn't find the specs for the redesign here, but overall length, 8.5 inches. Blade length of 3.8 inches, making the handle length, I gotta subtract now. See, they don't have the handle length there. Math. That would be 4.7. Yes, I did it. I was right. See that? We have a 7CR17 MOV blade. Still, I'll talk about that in a minute. It is stonewash. I have a stonewash, beautiful stonewash finish there. Oh my goodness. I love that tip-up carry pocket clip. I love the way that pocket clip looks. Absolutely love it. I love the frame lock bar, the frame lock plate, whatever you call it thing. It basically just prevents the frame lock from over traveling. It's just very unique. Like, they didn't just slap on a circular one. They put on a unique proprietary looking one right there, which matches the overall theme of the knife, which I think is really cool. And it doesn't say the weight, so let's weigh it with my scale right now. Let's see. My scale is getting, see if one person was angry that I didn't show what the scale was showing on the video. Can you read that? 5.69. So on the heavier side, it is an all-metal knife. That's just to be expected. You probably wouldn't have bought this knife in the first place if you knew it was made of all metal. Now, I have a mystery for you guys to solve. I do not know what the material of this handle scale is. It feels exactly like titanium. It feels like titanium, not quite aluminum. Maybe it's some sort of, it could be aluminum with some kind of finish on it that makes it feel like titanium, but it feels just like titanium to me. I can't find this on the internet anywhere. I can't find this. I bought this at Walmart. I just have no idea what, I can't find it. It was like 28 bucks, 29 bucks a few months ago I bought it. I don't know. Online, when I look up this number right here on the ricasso of the blade, you see that 4660519A, a knife does appear, but I think it's a G10 handle scale. The same color, like the desert brown, but it's not metal. It shows the G10 one. So this is a mystery. I got this from Walmart. It feels like titanium. I doubt it's titanium. It could be aluminum because when I try to magnetize it, when I try to put a magnet on it, it does stick, but it sticks way less than it would here, which tells me most likely it's just trying to stick to the metal liner that's underneath it, or trying to connect to the metal right here. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure this is not an aluminum liner. It's probably also stainless steel, just like this is. So mystery, I don't know, big mystery right here, but it's really cool. I like it. I'm a huge fan. It's really cool looking. I love stonewash finishes. I think stonewash should be on more knives because I think it's a little bit more expensive. Like bead blasting is an economy finish. Then you have like a satin. Stonewash, I think, is a little bit more involved. It takes a little longer to get it done, but it creates such a smooth finish. Very smooth. It feels smooth too, but smooth to the point that it's one of the hardest finishes to get rust on. Unless, of course, you coat it and something, put a black coating on there or whatever, then that's another kind of cheap way to prevent rust, to help prevent rust anyway. But yeah, stonewash is another way, and I love the way it looks. My favorite finish ever. Love stonewash. This pocket clip is a little bit tight. but it works just fine. I really like the way it looks. And, you know, tight pocket clips or slightly loose pocket clips, it's no biggie. I just detach these screws right here, take it off, take a pair of pliers, take another pair of pliers, put some sort of soft material around the business end of those pliers so I don't scratch anything, and just bend it slightly. If it's too loose, I just tighten it a little bit. If it's too tight, I just loosen it a little bit. And this is slightly too tight, but in my experience, it wasn't that big of a deal. It wasn't to the point where I needed to adjust it. I'll just kind of deal with it. I would rather have a pocket clip slightly too tight than slightly too loose. If it's a little bit hard to get in my pocket, that's okay. I would rather not have it fall out of my pocket without me knowing. So slightly too tight's fine. It won't fall out of your pocket as easily. Some people would argue a slightly too tight pocket clip is better. I don't really care, but it's fine. I really like the way it looks, and that's about what's going to be showing outside of your pocket. I think that's a perfect amount. It's not too low, not too high. Again, I don't really have a preference. I like it just about here. A lot of people like those loop over clips, so they don't show like anything. They want to be really covert. That's great. I find it a little bit harder to pull a knife out of the pocket when there's a loop over clip. That's just me. But if it's way too low, it's very easy to pull out, but it can get knocked out easier. I only want a low riding pocket clip if it's a ridiculously huge knife, like a comically big cold steel knife or something. That's when I want a lower rider. But in this case, this is perfect. I don't know what else to really say. It's been a while since I've done a review. As you can tell, I'm all over the place, and I'm really not collected here. This is my first take doing the review. I'm not going to do a second take. Sorry. This is going to be a very genuine review, other than all of the editing I'm doing. I love the way it looks. Cleavers are like a black and white thing. Either people love them or they hate them. I happen to love them. Is there really an advantage to a cleaver-style blade? Well, when cooking there is. It's all about weight and a chop. It's the chop motion. You want a lot of weight up here. Screw stabbing. We don't need to stab or pierce with the cleaver. We need to chop. We need to cut bones in half when cooking. That's the point of a cleaver anyway. But other than cooking, what real advantages do you have in the utility world or the defense world? I don't see any. For a folder anyway. For a fixed blade, yeah, if I'm chopping wood or something, but wouldn't I get an axe for that? Or wouldn't I baton with a fixed blade for that? I don't know. You know, it's kind of just a stylistic thing. Technically speaking, I'm going to say no, you don't really get any advantages with a cleaver-style blade on a folding pocket knife. But I think it looks badass. You know, it's really, really cool. I think that is an advantage in itself. And when it comes to cutting stuff, I'm really just opening packages. Maybe I'm at work opening a box, opening a package, scoring the tape off of something. Occasionally, I'll slice up a box. Especially since I've been doing a lot of moving lately. We have so many freaking boxes everywhere. You got to cut them up. But really, no blade's going to be much better or worse at that unless you're talking about a hawkbill blade, like a reverse. That would be very good for cutting up boxes. But this works fine. It's got that little pointer there that's good for scoring the tape of a box, but it's kind of overkill for opening a package. I mean, this is kind of a big blade. It's really cool. It is useful. It's just not going to be as useful as most other blades like there. Drop points, clip points. Even the Tonto blade, I think because a Tonto basically is this, and then you get an extra tip right there, which then leads to another tip right here, which you can pierce with. This you can pierce with. It technically does have a tip, but it's just really, 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 it's almost a 90-degree angle. I'm going to say that's like an 80-degree angle right there, which is not going to be very good for piercing at all. But you can pierce with it. It does have a tip. Looks like we have a hollow grind right there, too. I can just kind of tell and feel. It's a hollow grind. Hollow grinds tend to get a bit sharper, and I think they retain their edge a little better, but they also chip a little bit easier than a flat grind. So, yeah, now you know something. I think it's kind of contradictory having a hollow grind on a cleaver-style folder. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's kind of contradictory to me. Not that it really matters at all, because you're not going to be cleaving with this knife, because it's a folding knife. You don't do that with folding knives, you do that with fixed blades. But if you want a pocket knife that you can, it's very easy to conceal and carry, and then you, for whatever reason, one day you want to do some cleaving, yeah, this will probably work for that in the kitchen, but other than that, I can't really think of a good reason to have a cleaver, but it looks really awesome. So it's comfortable enough, it's slim, it's smooth, at least with this one anyway, the titanium handle scale we have here. I know it's not titanium, but it feels just like it. I'm going to say it's aluminum. It just doesn't feel like aluminum. It's almost got like a golden color to it. It's really beautiful. I love the way it looks. But I can't find it online anywhere. I just can't find this. If somebody can find this exact model or know what the model number is, please let me know. That would be appreciated. It's very smooth operation, has a nice lockup. Very smooth. It feels almost like a custom folder. Oh, just listen to that. That's awesome. But yeah, I don't really know what else to say about it. I don't really have any obvious problems with it. I like it for my uses. It's a big old knife. And yes, this will definitely work for, when I talk about the whole self-defense thing with folding knives. Yeah, absolutely. You got a lot of reach right here. You can go into the middle right here. You can choke up right here. It's very comfortable. I love how thick the back of the blade is right here. I'm going to call it the spine of the blade. Very, very thick, very smooth. Wow, it's just, you can get a lot of precision right there if you were doing some sort of shaving work or whatever. This thumb hole works very well. It's a trapezoid, I guess a rounded trapezoid. It works very well. It doesn't look like you have much to work with your thumb, but no, your thumb really digs in there. It's got a strong detent. Very easy to flick this knife open. It does not look like a knife you'd be able to flick open very well, but trust me, it does flick open very easily. It surprises me too. I like the kind of ridges we have here, the jimping, if you will, on the frame lock bar. Where's the frame lock, I guess? That's the frame lock bar, the frame lock plate anyway. I like frame lock knives a lot. They kind of just look like, it looks like a custom, it's just really technical looking. I'm surprised it's so cheap. I'm surprised it's just like a $30 knife. It looks like they would get like 50, 60 bucks out of it. No, yeah, very functional knife. A lot of people think this is going to be a form over function knife. It's all about looks. No, it works very well in my testing. I haven't used it a whole lot. As you can see, it's got almost like no scratches on it whatsoever. But I've carried it around. I really like it. I love how smooth it is. It carries nicely. It opens and closes very nicely. I like the different options you have for holding it. I love the way it looks. The blade, the 7MOV, what was it? I already forgot the name of the blade steel. 7CR17 MOV. So some of you may be familiar with 3CR13 MOV. That is commonly used on the Spyderco Tenacious line. The Tenacious, Ambitious, Persistence, and the Resilience. It's very, very, very commonly used steel. It gets hella sharp, but it doesn't keep its edge for terribly long, but it's very easy to resharpen it. It's a softer steel, has okay rust resistance. It's a very good economy blade. The 7CR17 MOV, so let's break it down. The 7CR refers to the chromium content. That's 7 units of chromium versus the 3 units of chromium that the 3CR13 MOV has. And then the 17 MO, that is referring to molybdenium. So 17 molybdenium content versus 13 molybdenium content. And then they both have 1 unit of vanadium in them. So we have more chromium and more molybdenium. What does that mean? I believe, at least with chromium, I know that kind of refers to, that helps with rust resistance. The more you have, I think, it can help with edge retention. Molybdenium, I do not know. I don't remember what molybdenium was. It's been a long time since I've looked into the steel factors and such, but it's very tricky. You can look at multiple different sources of information and you will find different answers. People will tell you different things, like, no, you actually don't want too much of that. No, you should get more of that element in there. And no, that's actually going to make the rust resistance worse if you have too much of it with that element. It's really confusing. I am not a metallurgist. You need to talk to someone who actually knows what they're talking about when it comes to steel. But from what I understand, it will probably be just a little bit higher quality compared to the 3CR13 MOV. It'll perform similarly, but you'll have probably a little bit better edge retention, a little bit better rust resistance. It's going to be probably a little similar, though. I'm surprised it's not used very much in the market. I don't hear about 7CR17 MOV. So yeah, it's a very comfortable knife to use. I know in the beginning I said it's not the most comfortable. I kind of take that back now that I pulled this back out. What I noticed with slimmer knives, they kind of create a pressure point when you really are squeezing hard on them and cutting something. Wherever your fingertips are, not the tips, but wherever your fingers are touching on the handle, it's less, how am I trying to word this? There's less material, I guess. So like the thinner and thinner material gets, the more and more it becomes sharper and sharper. If it was really wide, that pressure is divided amongst the entire surface of the handle, because there is not much surface here. It's pinchier, I guess. Like, that's the thing with slimmer knives. I happen to like thicker knives, but I like slim knives too. I like pretty much all knives. It looks cool. It functions great. It's very affordable. It looks and functions a lot better than its price tag makes it look like it would, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Very interesting. So if you like the way it looks, buy it. That's pretty much it. I do not think you're going to be disappointed. It functions very well, handles very well. It's fast, it's smooth. The lockup is fantastic, extremely strong lockup. Frame locks themselves are just inherently strong because as you are holding onto them, your grip itself helps enforce the lock. But because it's slimmer and because we have a smooth surface here, again, that's a little bit contradictory to me if you're going to be doing harder work. But it is what it is. It's kind of a stylistic knife, very stylistic knife. Not the most efficient. It is a little bit heavy. It's not the most textured or anything. It's going to be a little bit slippery if you are doing hard work, but it can handle hard work. Interesting. One of the more interesting knives I've seen come out lately, the Gerber Flatiron. That's a shame because I've really been digging through hard all the knife companies lately, the big ones anyway, Kershaw, CRKT, Spyderco, Cold Steel. Nothing has really been coming out that's been moving me lately, and this one did. I was like, ooh, I want that, and I saw it at Walmart, I was like, it's mine, because it was so cheap. If this was like 70 bucks, I don't know, that's a little expensive, but no, $30, heck yes, you gotta get this, if you like the way it looks. That's it, that is my review of this knife. I haven't done a knife review in over a year now, so as you can tell, this was kind of an incoherent ramble and was all over the place and not very well structured, but hopefully the video editing helped. Trust me, you would have not wanted to see the unedited version of this. Very cool knife.